The ultimate football fan is now here. All the biggest fan channels in one place.
Next night stand.
100% Chelsea.
Arsenal Fan TV.
All about the fans.
Why is he on the fucking pitch? What for what?
Exclusive content only here.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to
The UFF Daily Football Show.
The #1 source for everything going on in the football world, daily.
UFF, do what you have to do.
It's the big one. I think the one everyone has been waiting for the last couple of weeks. We're in association with history, and we are talking Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, the two greatest footballers of our generation. For me, there's no doubt about debating that, but we're going to touch on basically who of the two is better. We want to hear from you tonight on 0203 606 0315. These two gentlemen with me. We all know who Chris Kane is. Introduce yourself to everybody, let them know who you are.
It's Devo from the Football Banter Show.
There we go. We know who Chris Kane is. Regular on here. Co-host as well on FanPark Live. Remember, before we continue though, this is all part of history's hashtag history of football period. Okay. Now, from Monday the 28th, which is just gone, all this week and going all through next week, 24 hours a day, films, documentaries and debate shows all about the history of football. They touch on Pele, Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo. They're great shows leading up to the World Cup. Go and check it out on history. All the information for that is in the description below. The areas that we're going to look at tonight as well, gentlemen, just so you kind of know, we're going to look at their head-to-head stats from within La Liga. We're going to look at their honours. We're going to look at their skills, sort of their dribbling, passing, that type of thing, and also some of their team stats, which we'll touch on that in a little bit more. We've also got some videos, and that's where we're going to start today. Okay, actually, Jay's now just walked into this room, so we're going to wait for him to go back in there before we go to the video. But it is from Ryan Giggs, talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. We're going to play that for you now, and then these gentlemen are going to go absolutely at it. Over to you, Giggsy.
First time I seen him was Manchester United v Sporting Lisbon. Just after a pre-season tour in the States, our final game was in Lisbon, and we were all jet-lagged. And poor John O'Shea was up against Cristiano. I was on the bench, and together with the other subs, just giggling because he was just taking the mick out of Shazy. Shazy had 3 hours sleep, I think, in 2 days. And Ronaldo was just doing every trick in the book. And it was the first time that we'd seen him, obviously, live. And what a talent.
There we go. So I've heard that. Have you heard that story before about how Man United signed Cristiano Ronaldo? Yeah.
That's actually the first time I've heard that story.
Have you never heard it before? It's amazing. Like, he just embarrassed the team in pre-season, and one of the first times I've ever really heard this, where the entire team begged the manager to go and sign the guy. And this was after Arsenal should have signed him as well. And that's what I love about the story the most, is that Wenger relinquished the opportunity of signing him. But we're going to jump straight into this debate. Let's just remind everyone, Devo, who
I'm going with Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
CR7.
Leo Messi.
Leo Messi, that's what we're going with today. So the first thing we're going to touch on, okay, is their La Liga head-to-head stats. And the main thing people are going to focus on is their goal scoring. Which of you two gentlemen wants to go first?
I'm going to let you go first this time.
I mean, the #1 player has to go and has to lead by example.
There we go.
Leo Messi, for me, is the player that is the closest thing to the best attacking force we've ever seen of this generation, in the sense of that he could do... There's nothing in the attacking sense that he can't do to an absolute max level. If he wants to be an out-and-out goal scorer for a season, he'll be the best at that. If he wants to be a winger, he'll be the best at that. If he wants to be a classic number 10, he'll be the best at that. And I think one day he's going to go into like a central midfield, and he can be the best central midfielder. To carry such a creative load, as well as score the goals that he does, and as well as the fashion he does it in, as well as the efficiency he does it in, like, how can you not look at him as the #1 player, not only of our generation, but also potentially of all time? So, and there's a different standard when it comes to Messi. I think, as much as we want to talk about, you know, them being equal to one another, we still put Messi to a different standard to Ronaldo. I think that speaks to the difference between the two. 300,
and I have Jay put the stats up on the screen for anyone to see. 300 and 353 La Liga goals. He has look, absolutely tremendous, no matter what anybody says, what side of the debate you sit on. Dev, from your point of view, Ronaldo, everything you listen to what Chris say, fair enough from your point of view, but why is Ronaldo better than that in your eyes?
Ronaldo's just a machine. I think for me, the thing with Ronaldo is he's adapted his game to just become this absolute specimen of a goal-scoring machine. He scores not just, people say he just scores goals, but he scores all sorts of goals. He knows where to be. His positional sense is phenomenal. His movement off the ball is just excellent. He's a leader of that Real Madrid team. Obviously, there's stars in the team, but everyone looks at Ronaldo. He's done it with a supporting cast which may not be the same level as what Messi has at Barcelona. Obviously, Messi has had Xavi, Iniesta, obviously Suarez. Obviously, Real Madrid have had good players, but there's also been turmoil where he's had different managers. He fell out with Mourinho, still produced. So for me, Ronaldo is he's more machine than he is man. In his turnover is ridiculous. When you look at the amount of goals that he scores for Real Madrid, I think he's got more goals than he has appearances for Real Madrid, which is ridiculous. And people said even at the beginning of this season that he's finished. He's 33. He's finished. He scored 26 goals in 27 appearances in La Liga. His goal-to-game ratio is better than Messi's this season.
Interesting points there. Would love your views, your opinions in the comments below regarding the goals they have scored, the goal machine, or the man that's world class in what 3 or 4 different positions. I don't disagree with either points they make, but which makes them the better goal scorer? We want to hear from you. Let's look at their honours, though. We'll look at Messi first of all. We'll get this put up on the screen now by Jay. And I'll go through these first of all, and then you guys can debate this. So, international tournaments, 0 for Messi, 1 for Ronaldo. UEFA Champions Leagues. This graphic actually shows 4 each, because these graphics were produced by History before Saturday's game. So, it is 4 to Messi, 5 now to Ronaldo, as we know. League titles, Messi does him here. 8 league titles to Ronaldo's 5. Domestic Cups, Messi wins this, 12 to 9. Super Cups, 3 each. World Club Cups, it's 3 to Messi, 4 to Ronaldo. And Ballon d'Ors, individual trophies, they have won that 5 times apiece. So it's pretty even across the field. When you look at honours and trophies, both personally and as a team that Messi has won, what makes him stand above Ronaldo for you, Chris?
Well, for me, I don't really like to get into the honest thing too much, only because it's something that also is dependent on the environment around them. Obviously, both of them being the biggest players for him, they're going to have a major, say in how their respective teams' seasons go. But ultimately, I look at for example, let's look at the international honours, right? Yes, Portugal have won 1 as opposed to Argentina not winning any whilst Messi's been there. But it's like, well, Ronaldo didn't even compete in the final, and no. But that's the problem when, for either side, by the way, that's the problem when you look at the honours, and in terms of how big of a difference each player has made towards their teams getting those honours. You can make the argument for either, really and truly, but then I'm looking at like that 1 extra Champions League that Ronaldo has. It's just like, well, cool, but then again, Real Madrid have been in better shape for a more consistent period of time than Barcelona. That's facts. In the last 4 to 5 years, they've been in better shape than Barcelona. Barcelona is a team that historically, people look at the Pep era too much. Outside of that era, that's a very volatile club. That isn't so much the case with Real Madrid in the last few years, and that has played a part in that extra Champions League title that Ronaldo had.
So from your point of view, do you agree with what Chris is saying?
No, not really, because you have to remember that some of those honours which Ronaldo have were in England, which shows he's done it in more than 1 league. He's done it in England, he's done it in Spain, he's done it for Portugal. So the thing is, when it comes to honours, Messi has done all of this with 1 team, 1 system. The thing you were saying about Barcelona having a bit rocky, part of that was due to Messi, due to, I think it was Martino came in. That was Messi's choice. He was given a manager.
No, he spent half the season injured.
He was given that manager. That manager was for him.
No, okay.
So he's
okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
But choosing your manager doesn't have a consequence on you being injured for half.
No,
of the
but
season.
it has a consequence on that.
So no, but you can't. That isn't something that you could hold against Messi, even if he is, because none of us know that. Even if he was, he still spent half the season injured.
What do you make? What do you make on the point though? And I want to bring this up because it gets the old sort of, could Messi do it on a cold night in Stoke? I know it's a cliche, and I don't mean that literally, but we don't know how he would have performed in a different league in a different country. The argument is with Ronaldo, he is delivered internationally. He is delivered in 2 separate countries for 2 different teams. Do you not think that could stand him above Messi in the debate?
Even internationally, again, for me, it's one of those ones where it's a narrative, and then obviously Portugal winning Euro 2016 masks the actual reality of that. If you look at the goals that he has scored on an international level, he does, like Ronaldo doesn't tend to score against teams anywhere. He doesn't tend to score against teams anywhere close to what we regard top 10, top 15 in the world. Number one, he tends to score against significantly inferior opposition in the earlier stages of international competitions. So that's internationally. If you're talking about across different countries, England and Spain, well, okay, so what did Ronaldo do? He had 2 outstanding seasons for Manchester United and obviously a few good ones. He was still a pretty young player then. He left United when he was 24, so I'm not going to hold that against him. Yeah, 2 outstanding seasons, one of them delivering the Champions League, obviously being the best player for a Champions League winning side in United, who were by far the best side in England at the time. They won, 3 back-to-back titles. Okay, Messi playing for the best side in the country, I think is very capable. Even if he hasn't done it, that's more of a case of opportunity. It's like, whenever we talk about Scholes, for example, and how great of a midfielder he was, and how much he's revered amongst Europe's best, Xavi, Iniesta, like, we never use that against Scholes. We never talk about Scholes.
I think people do. I've heard many people use things against Scholes and Giggs and one club players before and say, well, we don't know how we can't say they're the best ever or one of the best midfielders ever because he hasn't done it in 2 really countries.
But same thing goes for Iniesta. Same thing. We have no problems talking about Iniesta on the same level as Zidane, who played in different countries. A lot of people think Iniesta is better than Zidane. And again, in his obviously peak of his career, he's playing in Japan now. No one holds that against Iniesta either. So for me,
I would in that debate. I would in that debate where Zidane has done it in numerous countries, and I sometimes think that shows. I mean, because you both know as well as I do, and I'll put this out there. So beeping is that the way football is in Italy is very different to how it is in Spain, to how it is in Germany, to how it is in England. And I think to be able to adapt your game and still be revered, as you say, as one of the best in the world, I think that shows something even more special about I'm not saying Messi hasn't got it, but we can't prove he's got it.
Okay,
that's the only point.
That's fair. But again, what I would say is that we have sat here and we've said that in terms of the quality of the league, Spain is probably the best. Like, we've sat here, me and you have sat here and we've said that there's a reasonable argument to be made for that. So yes, he hasn't left, but some of the greatest players that has ever played the game that we all universally accept as the best players, Maldini never left Italy. Nesta, Buffon never left Italy. Xavi, Iniesta, like there's plenty of examples of world-class talent that they've never
if they had and would have performed well, it would have put them in a higher level on the debate.
We never make that case for Zidane. Well, no. Look, I'm not saying that you can't make that case, but there's plenty of examples where we won't place other players that have played in different leagues above other players that have played in one when we recognise that it doesn't have to be a wide gap in talent, but there's enough to say that even still, he hasn't left this country. But
it's a fair point. We asked a question. Look, we're going to take a look at the poll quickly. We can get that put up on the screen. It's on the Ultimate Football fan page. Currently only 180 votes. So if you've voted already, make sure you'll one thing I say to people, when you do a voting poll on anyone's channel, retweet the thing. Because the more votes you get, the bigger the body and the bigger the circular that you get. Sample size give you a better idea of people's thoughts on this. Currently, Messi is leading with 54%. Probably the closest poll we've had over this last 3 weeks. So make sure you crack onto that. We've got some calls lined up from some people. We'll put them on in a minute. First, though, a video from Jermaine Genius on both goals, both sort of special goals from Messi and Ronaldo collectively. I'm going to put that on for you now.
They're both wonderful finishers, but are either of them an out-and-out striker?
Well, Ronaldo definitely leans, I would say, more towards that now in the latter stages of his career. Although I still feel he's more dangerous from the left-hand side. Messi likes to drop deep and arrive late into the box, which causes teams problems. I have to say, I think when I look at Ronaldo and all the different ways he can score goals, left foot, right foot, he's so dangerous in the air. Yes, Messi's goals, you kind of just look at him and go, I don't know how you've done that. That is sensational. But I have to say, I tend to lean a little bit towards, more towards Ronaldo on this one.
I think I heard that right. Gina said he prefers Ronaldo's goals. But look, we want to hear from you. We've got some callers that are going to come through now. Jay, whenever you're ready, put the callers through. We want to hear what they've got to say. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live Head to Head. What's your name?
It's Connor.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good, good, good. What side of the fence are you sitting on this evening?
I'm sitting on the side of Messi.
Tell us why.
Okay, so when I look at these two players, I think they're probably the best players that come down in history, like, you know, the best rivalry. But if I was to put a team out in a final, the one person who I think is going to change the game and potentially win it is going to be Messi. He's a proven game winner.
That's fair enough, but then no one has more goals in a Champions League final than Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano has proved time and time again to score important goals when it matters.
That's true, but I mean, when even at international level, even as you say, Portugal won the European Championship. Messi, in what should be a better Argentina side, seems to carry them every time.
I mean, on international level, this is why I talk about there's a different standard, and I think that says something, because we never talk about Ronaldo needing to win the World Cup to become the best player ever. We talk about him needing to win it or another international trophy to be better than Messi. That's where we use a juxtaposition.
But is that because
I think that's because of Maradona.
No. Maradona's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But even just outside of Maradona, in comparison to Pele, Cruyff, so on and so on, obviously R9 Ronaldo, we talk about Messi being undisputed, like as if he wins Argentina in the World Cup, it's an undisputed consideration. He is the best player of all time.
But
and I think we wouldn't have that conversation about Ronaldo. I mean, that would definitely help it. But we don't talk about Ronaldo needing to become
But do you think
the
that's
number one guy.
because he's from Portugal, and Portugal are a good international side, but they are not. They don't fall into that elite level. The same as when George Best was a player, you wouldn't have sat there and said, but he didn't do it at a World Cup because he played for Northern Ireland, which again are much smaller than Portugal. I take that. In, you look at that consideration. The same as if you're looking at Zlatan Ibrahimovic, or if you're looking at any of these great players that play for small nations, you would never talk about international. When it comes to Argentina, they're always in the group of the favourites to win a World Cup. So I think that's why they do that.
But
I think there's a fairness to it.
Di Maria, they have players. So.
But you say that, but Portugal are a team that got into the Euro 2004 finals, in Euro 2004 finals, 2006 World Cup they're in the semi-finals, in the 2008 Euros I can't remember where they got to, World Cup 2010, they didn't get that far if I remember. 2012, like this is a team that. Portugal are a...
Is that because of Ronaldo, though?
No, not only. Because Portugal, we can't... You took into consideration we can't compare Portugal to Northern Ireland. Portugal have had enough talent to be regular semi-finalists in international competitions for 14 years. Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah. So, again, the expectation... Because Ronaldo has... If any, you can make the genuine argument that Portugal have had better sides than Argentina. Argentina have better talent, especially in the forward line. But in midfield and defence, Argentina aren't a good side. Portugal have been challengers for international honours longer than Argentina.
In fairness to that point, I think when we'll know is when Ronaldo steps away from international football, because if for the next 12 years, if they don't have a superstar like Ronaldo, but they still continue to do as well in tournaments, then I think we could, for that same period, you'd say, oh, okay, they've got a good work ethic, they do well. However, if they suddenly fall away and stop qualifying and stop, then it's a case of maybe that guy's 80-odd goals did deliver.
No, you say that Portugal have only, in my opinion, become a one-man team in the last, since maybe 2012 onwards. Prior to that, they just had good players from front to back.
Cool.
But going back to your point about the whole international thing, I just feel like this is the issue. You see with Messi doesn't have to play to score to play well. Yeah. In the way that we don't talk about Ronaldo if he doesn't score. And I feel like there's a lot of Messi performances on international level that don't get that credit because we've just attached this standard where he has to score to be effective. Obviously, that's part of his game. He's a forward. But in 2006, he came off the bench quite a lot, but he was very impressive for Argentina in the 2006 World Cup. In the 2010 World Cup, that Maradona horror show, unfortunately, got in the way of what could have been a very good... Because Messi was at his peak at that period,
absolutely,
but he still played well.
In
2014, I don't think he should have got player of this tournament, but he had a good... he still carried his team to the final along with Mascherano.
I take that point on board. We've got a few more calls we've got to run through. People are waiting. Jay's going to put them through now. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
My name is Abraham.
Hello, Abraham. Whose side of the fence are you sitting on this evening?
I mean, I'll have to go for Ronaldo. I mean, Ronaldo's not a likable guy, but there's no doubt he's a more complete and better player for the team because a lot of people haven't watched Ronaldo his whole career. And when it watched from 2010 onwards, and I feel like you have to watch both of the guys' careers. I watched both of them from the very beginning, and I feel like Ronaldo, everywhere he's gone, he's been successful.
Fair enough.
Successful with his national team. They're not even top 5 in Europe. Messi has a better national team, and he's failed to win with them.
Okay.
And I feel like Messi's a Barcelona player where he needs a team, not a team, but a system that's built for him to get the best out of him. That's why he hasn't succeeded in Argentina.
Fair enough.
Where Ronaldo, he killed it in the Premier League.
Good
He went
points.
to Real Madrid.
Excellent points, mate. Thank you very much for your points. We've got a few more callers we've got to get through. Ready for the next calls, Jay? Just keep them coming through. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Kwame.
Kwame, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good, good. Who are you backing tonight?
Definitely Messi.
Messi, tell us why.
People always talk about Ronaldo, like your friend on the left said, I forgot his name. People always talk about Ronaldo with regards to goals. At Man U, personally, even though I'm a Barca fan, I'm a bit biased. At Man U, I would say Ronaldo was probably better than Messi because as well as scoring goals, Ronaldo could create his own chances. And that's what sets the good players from the best ever, the fact that they can score their own goals and create chances. And then the fact that when we look at Ronaldo's goals, people always assume that Ronaldo has been vastly better. But Messi's actually been scoring more goals than him. And we always say Messi should have had to play in the Prem. But technically, if you take Ronaldo out the Prem, the same Ronaldo, put him in La Liga, surely that's fair to compare him against Messi because now they're both in the same league. So if Ronaldo was able to do it in the Prem, like people like Aguero and Silva have gone and done it in the Prem from La Liga, surely Messi could. If he can break Barton's ankles, then sure, should be no problem.
No, look, listen, really good points. Really good points made by gentlemen there. I agree with some of what he's saying. Look, Messi. What I don't want to do, and I don't think it's right to do, is be disingenuous to either of these players. I heard there's a video coming up later where somebody says it's not even a contest, and I also instantly switch off from that kind of opinion because I think don't you dare play either of these two individuals down. I think what's interesting is when you look at some of the other stats we're going to put up now, and then we're going to go into some of these videos. So just looking at La Liga as an example, like Messi gets 0.35 assists per game, Ronaldo 0.3. Messi creates 2 chances per game, Ronaldo creates 1.7. Messi clearly completes more passes, Barcelona's system does, but it's 49 passes on average per game to 33 for Ronaldo. And goals in La Liga, 0.9 per game for Messi and 1.04 for Ronaldo. So I get that guy's point. However, for me, it's all very, very similar and very, very close. It really, really is in terms of stats. I think you've got to look beyond stats when you're looking at
even
this.
Even with stats, like, listen, as someone who's a former football analyst, right? There is so I don't want to say the kind of cliche thing you can manipulate stats however you want because there is a degree of truth to that, but there are so many more advanced metrics that whether you want to look at possession stats, goal scoring stats, dribbling stats, any kind of metric that you have, there is so much to suggest like Messi is ahead of Ronaldo in that regard, especially because for me efficiency is up there. And especially when it comes to efficiency, Messi is there's actually a bit of a distance between him and Ronaldo. What I will also say about that, just focusing on goals, like let's take goals away from the conversation for a second. The eye test is real. There's real value to the eye test. Not every opinion is weighed the same. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. Everyone is entitled to their preference. But an informed person who's a student of the game will look at Messi, and there is so much more that he can do with the ball. There's so much more that he can bring to the team. Whilst with Ronaldo, it's like, if I was to ask you 5 performances where Ronaldo didn't score, but he was man of the match or close to one of the best players on the pitch, it would be very hard for you to name those games.
That's a good question. But then you also have to look at Ronaldo. Although if he doesn't score, people say he's not doing anything. But you have to think the sheer fear factor of him being in the spaces that he's in is creating spaces for other players. So where you're saying he might not be doing much on the ball or whatever, but because he's there, simply there, other defenders are so focused on him, it's creating space for his teammates. So his teammates are getting in positions. Plus, if you look at Ronaldo in his Man United days, I know it's a while ago, but he was probably the best dribbler on the planet when he was at Man United. He was scaring defenders out of their socks. He was doing things.
He really wasn't. He was dribbling more. For me, I actually prefer Ronaldo in a United shirt than I do in a Real Madrid shirt because he had a more well-rounded game.
Yeah,
and it was a completely different player.
I think Kwame brought up something that was so key in this discussion. It's like, well, again, even assists, there are players that you won't consider creative that get more assists than truly creative players because of the nature of the assists, key passes, so on and so on. Like, again, you can keep on adding metrics for days and it could go either way. However, what I will say is that take goals out of the situation, take assists out of the situation, whether it favours Messi or Ronaldo, Messi's influence from minute 0 to minute 90 is ever present. There's been periods in his career where it's been more present than others. Like for me, there was a period in Messi's career where he was very much, I'll just walk around, get the ball and then do my thing, as opposed to being active and being a live wire from the first whistle to the last whistle. But that's like Messi from like 06 up until now has been that player. Yeah. Whilst with Ronaldo, it's like he is a pure poacher, and we should obviously respect him as that. But we should also respect that there's a player who can also give you similar amount of goals as that pure poacher, but give you a second and a third extra bit of influence.
Really good points from both there. We've got the videos that have been sent. We're not taking any more calls tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting close to the end now. So what we're going to do is play the videos that have been sent in by some of our UFF YouTube influencers. We're going to listen to that. We're going to retake a look at the polls, and then we're going to make our decision. What are we holding on for? We ready to go? Jay's got this. Jay's got this down. Is it coming? It's coming. Jay's ready for the videos.
CR7. Yeah. Just about. Yeah. He stands out. He leads a team. He never goes missing. Yeah. Messi does sometimes.
Messi. Yeah, straight up. I'm a Barcelona fan as well, so yeah, Messi. It has to be Messi.
Messi, of course. This one is easy for me. Easy. One is naturally gifted. One is a product of training. You know, someone was born with it. I don't mean that hard work is not good. Hard work is good. I also love Ronaldo, but Messi. Jesus, that guy's on another level, man. Messi for me.
Ooh, another one. CR7. The only reason why I'm going to say CR7 is because he's been to the Premier League and he's caught bodies. You know, like that, fam. Like Messi ain't been to the Premier League. He's just been at Barcelona, and everyone knows that Barcelona is just Messi, bro. When them man have the ball, they look for Messi, bro. When you watch Barcelona play, yeah, they say Messi, and everyone else gets announced by their shirt numbers. You know them way there. So realistically, I'm going CR7.
Hard one, but it has to be Ronaldo. Yeah.
Why is that? Anything in?
Watched Messi in, I think it was the European Championships, and he made a fool of himself in the penalty shootout.
Oh, okay.
He just...
Oh, the Copa America, was it?
Quite possibly. It might have been that or the World Cup, but he just didn't seem like he wanted to be there.
I saw Messi play against Chelsea about a month ago,
in the
and it was awe-inspiring. I was thoroughly turned on rather. But you said Messi and
Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I would like Messi. I love to see his footwork. It's just you know, I don't think there's anybody like him ever had footwork like that. It's just, I don't know, and so intuitive, can think things out, and he's always one step ahead of other players. You know.
To be honest, I'm gonna give the diplomatic answer and sort of be like, oh, we're lucky to have them both at the same time. It's a beautiful time to watch football. But making a choice, I'd have to say Ronaldo. But that's personal preference because I prefer work rate and someone who basically built themselves up compared to someone who just gets it straight away. I just think Ronaldo is, he's like one of the best that's ever lived, if not the best in my opinion.
If someone said they are equal, I'm not going to fight them down. If someone said one or the other is better, I'm not going to fight them down. But Ronaldo edges it for me. And it's really, when I say edges it, it's really edges it. Since he's gone to Real Madrid and they've been playing in, you would say, near and thereabouts equal teams in terms of their teammates, and obviously playing the same opposition, whether it's in the La Liga, whether it's in Champions League, Copa del Rey, etc. Ronaldo's numbers speak for themselves. Messi may be more aesthetically pleasing on the eye, and that's all good. Football, you know, we like to be entertained. We like to see beautiful football, what people call beautiful football. But in terms of what they produce, the numbers of Ronaldo, they speak, for me, they speak for themselves, just in terms of him coming into La Liga.
There's no competition. This is the most
stupid mythical debates ever, because Messi can pass, he can score, he can create, he can dribble. Cristiano is one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, but when we're talking about who is the better player, Messi does far more over 90 minutes than what Cristiano does. And I just think that to put Cristiano even in the same breath as Messi as an all-round football player doesn't make any sense. Messi, for what he does as an offensive weapon, is far more than what Cristiano can do.
Thank you, everybody, for getting those videos done and sending them in to us. And I think, look, we're going to get the Twitter poll up now. It's gone a lot more one-sided somebody else's way. 1,800 votes now. Lionel Messi leading the way with 64% of the vote. I think it's a little bit closer than that. I think that much of a gap. I think there's a little bit of what I would call Abu bias in that. Anybody but United. I think, honestly, yeah.
I don't know.
No, not really. No, look. I think there's. I sometimes think there's a little bit of that when someone's connected to such an unpopular football club. I don't think it helps them. But look, great debate by both of these gentlemen this evening. Look, I've been reading loads of the comments coming in. I think the only thing I disagree with is when people say it's an easy decision for them. I think if you find it an easy decision, I actually do think there is a hell of a lot of bias, or you're being disingenuous to the other person. But the guy, I'm going to award the victory tonight to Chris. I think his arguments were absolutely brilliant. I'm going to give the award to Messi. But that takes nothing away from Cristiano Ronaldo. He is personally my favourite player. And I think something that I've said on many, many FanPark lives now, I don't worry about the stats so much. I don't worry about the influence on games. All this is important. But for me, when I judge my favourite player or I think's better, it's about how they look on the eye for me, who I prefer watching. The example being, I prefer watching Ronaldo over Lionel Messi. But if Messi's the best player out there, if you guys vote for that, more than happy to agree with that, because they're both, for me, the best of our generation. And by the time they retire as well, they could both go down as the greatest two football players of all time. And we've been lucky enough to witness that, which I think is amazing. But listen, everyone who tuned in, amazing. Check out all the information below for history, where you can check out all their documentaries and films in the lead up to the World Cup. Go have a look at them. Some of them are amazing, and a lot of them are about the history of football. You will learn something, trust me, if you go and check that out. But for now, we'll be back tomorrow, 10:30, for the final show of this marathon we've had in the last 3 weeks. It's been very, very tiring, but it's been fun at the same time. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.